Welcome back to our brown bag research. This is the product of the Undergraduate Research Council here at VSU, and we are trying to help students advance their scholarships, give them opportunities to see more professors. But in this session, we're really talking about the symposium that's coming up. Every year we do an undergraduate research symposium. There's also a graduate research symposium. And starting this year, they're going to be fairly linked. We are looking at also doing something with the first year experience. So as we build undergraduate research, we want you to know some of your options. First of all, the question always comes up with students is, why do you do this? It's a very practical reason. The first practical reason is that bang for your buck, it's the best thing you can do for graduate school or for job placement. Maybe not the best, but it's up there in the top 5 because it is unique. Most people don't do undergraduate research. A lot of people look at it and go, wow, what that means is you step beyond the classroom and furthered your research in certain areas. Now, in some areas like the sciences, that may be expected. In the social sciences and the humanities, it's liked but not always expected. So this is a way to set yourself apart on your resume, whether you're applying to graduate school or whether you're looking to go out in the workforce and say, I've done something unique. And I've had several people come back after graduation and say that they were noticed because of their undergraduate research, because it gave them something to talk about in the interviews. So when you go in and they say, so what have you been doing in your undergraduate studies, you have this presentation that you've done. In many cases, it also opens you up to going to other symposiums or conferences. A lot of them have undergraduate sessions or graduate sessions, and it gets you used to doing these things and not feeling self-conscious about it. So that's one of the practical reasons. Another practical reason is it gets you used to the skills. It ups your skills in public speaking, in organization, presentation material. One of the most difficult things is anytime you've done research, and usually it involves a very lengthy paper of some sort. And then you're told at a conference or another situation that you have 10, 15 minutes to present your information. Well, obviously you can't do the whole thing at that point. And so you've got to cut down all of your work to what you see as the most important information to get across. And knowing how to do that is an excellent skill. It allows you to learn how to do PowerPoints, how to make them pleasant but professional, no cartoons, how much to put on the PowerPoint, and why you don't read off your PowerPoint. So undergraduate research allows you to improve your skills. It's not that you don't have skills now, many of you do, but this is a chance to practice them. And so to practice things like eye contact, to make sure that you get used to speaking in public, even if your voice shakes a little bit. You will do less stammering, less flushing of the skin if you're used to it. It just becomes easier. It's like anything else that you practice. So there's a lot of practical reasons why to do undergraduate research. It just looks good, and it improves your abilities, hopefully to get you where you're going. Now, we're going to be online again this spring, and you will start to see calls for abstracts coming out in the next couple of weeks. The abstracts will be due in February, and I'll set the time and you'll have all that information. And then we're going to be talking next semester exactly how each of these, in a brown bag session, how each of these sections is going to work, so that you have a little bit more knowledge. Now, last year, we put it together in under a month, and I applaud the students who moved online. I think we had like 300, and the online actually went international, so that was a great deal of fun. Um, but again, it's going to up your skills. It's something else to put on your resume. So we have several options that you can do. One is a poster option. That is taking your research, either that you've already done, it has to be done within this school calendar year, or that which you're in the middle of right now. You haven't finished it yet. And turn it into a poster. Again, this is a very difficult thing to do for many people because they're used to writing papers. They've gotten that skill down, but now paring it down and showing the most important things about your research on one poster board that's 3 foot by 4 foot, that's a challenge. In the end, it does help you again solidify exactly what is the most important thing for you to voice about your research. And that can be very useful in many cases. So you can do the posters. We'll talk more about this next semester, but you can do them either in PowerPoint where you have one PowerPoint slide or in Publisher as long as you get the dimensions right when you start. And we have all kinds of information on our webpage. We'll be sending out information. We'll be doing another brown bag session to help you with all the details on that. But it's something you can start thinking about even over the break here between semesters. You can start looking at our website and seeing what's required. You can see old examples, and we have archived starting last year with the online stuff. We archived everything. So you can go to that archive and find examples of the other posters that were out there so that you can see what other people have done. We also have it's usually about a 12-minute presentation with a PowerPoint. And these are various PowerPoint slides, and you will speak and show your PowerPoint. So no one's actually going to see you online. Usually we do when we have on-site. But for this, it's going to be mostly just seeing your PowerPoint on the computer and hearing your voice as you talk through. So you'll basically give your presentation and show your PowerPoint, but it's all going to be online. That's one of the options of the oral presentation. The other option with the oral presentation that we started last year and was a great deal of fun was our webinar, and we're going to continue that. So if you'd rather do the live experience, then basically you will be a part of our webinar where you will show your PowerPoint, and at the same time you will give your presentation. We'll only hear your voice, so you can still be in your pajamas if you want, but you'll get the whole experience there. And again, you get to put on your resume that you now participated in a webinar. That's an upcoming skill, as we can see, even after COVID is over, a lot of these skills are still going to be in place. And my guess is a lot of conferences are still going to go online because nobody's going to have the money to go. And institutions aren't going to be able to fund it. So we're still going to see some of that. So now you've already done a webinar. And we did have a great time last year, and a lot of people attended. Like I said, it was international, and that's just fun. So with each of those, there'll be a question and answer. Well, with the webinars, there'll be a question and answer page. We do have the ability, and I think our wonderful tech staff with Danielle Costello, with these little tags, what do you want to call them? Postit notes. Basically, that on all of our posters and everything we did, you could go back and put Postit notes, and that was a great deal of fun. I mean, it was just something that you would get from different people, questions, comments, and that just, again, the interaction made it more enjoyable, at least for me. The last one we have is the 3-minute video. And the 3-minute video contest is one where you take your research and you video a script. You can do it in many ways. You can look at the different ways we've done it. Give your research in 3 minutes, which is a huge challenge, but quite fun. And a lot of people really love it. For each of these categories, there is a prize that we're giving. Now, the webinar and the presentations are combined into one category, but because they're just different ways of doing the same thing. But they come with money, is what I'm saying. So if you're looking for another reason why you do this, it's for the money. Some of the awards are $150, some are $75. I don't think money is the reason to do it. It's just kind of a nice thing to do. I think the reason to do this is the experience of it. It's great fun. It's a wonderful way to share your research with the rest of the university and with people beyond that. It allows your family to see your research. It allows you to enter into the professional world of your field. So you take steps to move from student to professional. And that's part of what this is getting you ready for the next stage, the next step. And now you've already done it once, and hopefully it's a lot of fun. Now, when we go back on site, we will reinstitute the wonderful buffet dinner that we usually have on Thursday nights for the poster presentation, and probably the pizza lunch. I don't know if we can get that together online or not, but if nothing else, everybody can bring their coffee, bring their own pizza, and just have a good time visiting with people. And like I said, talk to anybody that was in it last year. We had a great deal of fun. And it was sort of the nicest thing about being in lockdown for me, was continuing this. And I was so thrilled that our tech team, headed up by Danielle Costello, was willing to, in less than a month, they all volunteered to just put this online. And I have to say, as the president-elect of Georgia Undergraduate Research Council, nobody else did what we did. And so the students need to be proud of that. The tech staff need to be proud of that. The whole community came together to make this happen. And I think that's what made it so much fun. So hopefully this year will be even better. We like to see even more students involved. If you're interested or you have more questions, you can contact me at any time. You can always find me on email. Other than that, that's all I had. Does anybody who's here, I see Dr. Knowles, Jesse, our grad assistant, anything you guys want to add to why do undergraduate research?
I'll add something.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Knoll.
Oh, that's okay. You go ahead. I'll collect my thoughts.
Okay. Well, I will say that as an undergraduate student, doing the research symposium was one of the greatest way to overcome a lot of my fear. Because I had in my head this idea of how scary research was, how scary presenting it was, how scary it was to take questions from people. But I learned that presenting it at places such as BSU and some of the other places I presented, that I learned more about my research from questions that were asked to me. I learned more about questions I needed to ask and realized that people generally want to know about your research. And unless you present it, people don't know. So it was one of the biggest game changers to participate in the symposium, because it let me know that it's not a harsh thing to be in. It was very easy to be in front of people because they generally care about what we're researching.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Dr. Knowles, what do you have?
Well, I just wanted to say that it gives the student an opportunity to do one-on-one research under the supervision of an experienced researcher. So whoever the faculty member is that you're working with, you'll get a chance to work with them on a more intimate basis than you would be normally in a class, even if it's a senior seminar. We can't really turn our attention to one student as opposed to the whole class. But in this situation, your mentor and you will work very closely, and you can learn, you can learn the pitfalls that we have learned. You can benefit from our errors and our mistakes and our frustrations, and most of us are very willing to share those with you so that you don't make the same mistakes. So it's like having a big brother or big sister, I suppose, in that regard. So it's a good experience. It's a more personal experience than you'll have even in the most refined research coursework.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful point. I'm glad you brought them up. Both of you made great points because there's so much to this type of research that is enjoyable. And I do want to say something that Jesse made me think of. Keep in mind, a lot of people are afraid of the questions that are going to be asked or if they're going to be hammered in these sessions. And I've been doing undergraduate research here at VSU for, oh, I don't know, 10 years or more, 15, I don't know, long time. And it's just not that type of an atmosphere. People may ask very difficult questions, but it's always all right to say, you know, that's outside of the realm of my research, but it's an interesting question. And you can either go with, and I want to look at that and I'll get back to you, or something like, I'm not really sure, but let me try and answer that based on what I've researched. And don't hold me to this, but this is right now, without really going into it, this is what I think it would be the answer. You can do that, but nobody is going to let you get hammered. So if that's your fear for undergraduate research, we are not that. Especially online, we have the ability to mute anybody at any time, which is definitely one of the advantages to being online. We did have an incident last year where an inappropriate comment got put on one of our sites, and of course we were able to take it down right away. If we're face-to-face, again, faculty members and the council are not going to allow anything inappropriate to happen. They really aren't. Generally speaking, somebody will jump in and say something, and that gets the conversation going off and give you time to breathe and rethink. So we're there to help, not to hinder. This is about helping you learn your skills, not testing you and seeing if you can survive. So this should be fun and enjoyable. It won't ever necessarily be easy or comfortable or without a little bit of anxiety, but it can be with less anxiety as you learn to do it. Anything else anybody wants to add? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no, and it's time to everybody finish their lunches. And I appreciate Danielle for teching this and getting the tech team together and really heading that up for our council and for our council support, for all of you that have joined us here or in the archives, and for the professors that are out there giving extra credit for doing this. I hope everybody has a good holiday break, and we will see you again next semester. Thank you.